ahead and get us started. We were trying to wait for our solicitor, so apologies. So if we have legal questions, we will defer to him once he arrives, basically. But we're going to go ahead and get started in the interest of all of your time tonight. Okay? So if everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be perfect. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could have roll call.
Ms. Chaparro.
Here.
Mr. Kennard.
Here.
Mr. Gahed.
Here.
Ms. Jacobs-Rohan.
Here.
Ms. Metzger.
We're sharing.
Here. Mr. Paris.
Here.
Ms. Schutz.
Here.
Ms. Siri.
Here.
Mr. Smales.
Here.
Perfect. Okay. At this time, we will move into motions for, we will move into presentations, actually. We only have, I believe, one presentation, which is the elementary STEM position discussion. Did we want to discuss this here or in finance, or are we good to go for here?
It's totally up to you guys. We can do it in 5 minutes too. Want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
No. You can too. Okay, we had some discussions about the elementary STEM position, whether or not this is attached. This position is attached. Both teaching positions are attached to the budget. Ms. Lubert, during her section, is going to go over some of those different scenarios. But whether or not you approve it, I already asked you whether or not it's okay to post an anticipated opening. If in fact you as a board want to commit to the new positions, that is the two new positions is the deficit in the budget, the $235,000 between the preliminary proposed budget from last week is the two new teaching positions. Now the board is already committed to the computer science teacher, and tonight we thought we'd just kind of open it up for discussion in terms of the other elementary STEM teacher. If in fact you as a board are in support of that other teacher, the board president or another board member can change the motion later on in the agenda if you want to sort of come to terms with the 0.3294% increase. That will leave the only discussion for next week in terms of the final budget, the extra money possibility for the renovations at the high school. We have next week our representative from PNC to come talk about the bonds and give you guys some good information so that you're well equipped to have a good discussion next week, or not next week,
meeting.
Next meeting on June 1st. What's that?
I was very confused. Now I'm with
June 1st,
Yeah.
our bond person is going to come talk to you about that. So if we get to 0 in the budget, that pays for all personnel items and it balances the budget. The only remainder left is the distance between whatever that tax increase is, which is 0.3294, and max taxes, which is going to get you the difference, an amount for you to consider for possible renovations to the junior, senior high school, and that will be the majority or the brunt of your discussions on June 1st.
Does that make sense for everyone?
Yep.
So discussion. I think it was it seemed pretty clear that almost all of us were in favor of this position. I myself am also in favor of the position. Just so that we're mindful of what it is. It would be a new position, primarily for the elementary schools. in relation to STEM. I know that there were talks previously of a possible STEM director or something like that. I know that I had conversations with Dr. English just to clarify that. But our principals, when they came in and talked a few months ago, they also indicated to us that this would allow a lot of freeing up in terms of our guidance counselor, who currently teaches some of the classes or fills in when necessary. I believe the ESL, not the ESL, but
Let me give you the list. Okay, the list is, it'll free up counselors who are currently teaching developmental guidance. It'll free up the gifted teacher who is currently teaching STEM. It also frees up the schedule for the elementary teachers. It also frees up the library media specialists who can then devote more of their time to the high school. And finally, it creates a K through 12 STEM focus, which at the end of it will be the new computer science teacher. So, typing and technology, a lot of the parents have come in to say that, they want sort of a K through 12 scope and sequence for tech. This fills in those gaps, and it should parlay very nicely into the junior high exploratory program.
In this position, their time between Verner and 10th Street.
Yes, yes.
any other aspects of that to be discussed? Okay. Seeing none, then I will move it on. Oh, go ahead.
What particular certification actually does that fall under when you hire a STEM teacher?
Yeah, I think there's flexibility in terms of STEM or specials at the elementary school, so they can have a more general. Why, you want to apply? You want to come? You coming? All right. I was gonna say. I know you're. I know you teach that. I know you teach that. But yeah, there's some openness to that position, and there could be some checkerboarding types of things where perhaps one of our current teachers would maybe move into there, and then that would leave all the dominoes tick 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 start to fall. And there's a lot of different permutations of how that could sort of fall out.
Anyone else? Oh, okay, then we shall move on. Number 2 will be consideration of and action upon. Item A will be approval of past meeting minutes. I will ask for a motion for 1, the study session meeting minutes for April 13th, 2026, and 2, for the regular voting meeting minutes for April 20th, 2026. Do I have a motion at this time? Sorry.
Schutz, so moved.
Thank you. Second.
Chaparro, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of approving the study session meeting, or the study session minutes and the regular voting meeting minutes from April, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. And all those who abstain. Okay, ayes have it. Item number B, under consideration of and action upon, will be the treasurer's report. I will ask for a motion under 2B for the approval of the treasurer's report as presented. 1, the general fund, April 2026. 2, athletic fund, April 2026. 3, food service fund, April 2026. 4, capital improvement fund, April 2026. 5, student activities fund, April 2026. 6, PA municipal real estate collections, there's no report. 7, MBM delinquent real estate collections, April 2026. 8, Keystone collections, earned income and local service tax collections, April 2026. And 9, general fund and approval of bills, Fund 10, April 2026. Do I have a motion at this time?
Chaparro, so moved.
Thank you. Any second?
Siri, I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Or any questions for our business manager? Or what's your title? Sorry. Director of Finance and Operations. Sorry, Ms. Lubert.
It's okay, I forget it too.
I was like, oh. Okay. No questions. Then we will move into a vote. All those in favor of the treasurer's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. And all those who abstain. Okay, ayes have it. Really quickly, just short and sweet for this month. Again, thank you all for being here. There's a lot of students here this evening, which I appreciate. I also appreciate that it's a requirement of your class because it's good to see your local government in action technically, especially something that directly affects you all in your daily lives. I also wanted to take a moment to thank all of our mothers that are on the board and in our community that are also here tonight. Happy Mother's Day to you all. I know it was yesterday, but I still think it goes without saying every day. So thank you all for being here and a part of our community. You raise excellent children. They do amazing things throughout the year. You'll hear later on in our report some of the excellent things these students have been doing. We got to have their senior ceremony or their senior award ceremony last week, and that was just really amazing to see. It's also always amazing to see how many accolades and or scholarships that these children get every year. And then on top of it, we have more to come this week, I believe, with the juniors, and then the next couple of weeks it just continues on. So just really proud to be a part of this district. Moving forward, I will call for our first hearing of citizens. This is typically for any community member who wants to come up and speak. I would ask you to state your name and your address and make your comments 3 minutes or less. This is typically for anything that is currently on the agenda to be discussed this evening. There will be a second one at the end of the meeting for all school-related topics. Please keep in mind that your comments are typically not responded to by board members, but usually taken into for consideration in future governance, and that your comments will be recorded. If anyone wishes to come up and speak for the first hearing of citizens, please do so now.
Sophia Sullivan, I'm sorry, 139 Oak Meadow Drive. First of all, if you guys could speak up, it's really hard to hear back there, especially you.
Oh.
Yeah, just speak a little louder.
You bet.
And then I just want to say that science and technologies teacher, the computer teacher, I do think we need that. It's something that the kids, I just don't think they get enough STEAM stuff. And I know Dr. Fava works really hard to teach 6th grade the STEAM, but she also does gifted, and she's just pulled, and then she's going to Verner, she's driving back and forth, and it's, I mean, just having my GIP meeting with her, she's rushing from Verner, and you know, it's just a lot for her. She's doing a great job, but it's a lot, and I think it would really help to have that other teacher, so I would ask you to consider that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Wendy Wilton, 682 4th Street in Oakmont. I said this during the Finance Committee meeting as well when I listened in, that deciding to raise taxes, especially this year, is a big decision and it's a hard decision, and I totally respect your decision, whatever you make, because it isn't easy. I saw that on the agenda, it said 0% tax increase, so I just wanted to comment on that. I'm glad to hear that it's still in flux and talking, but you know, as far as the renovations go, obviously I've stated that I'm in favor of it. You know, just improving Riverview in any way we can, and hoping that it's a year that we can get away with one tax raise taking care of that bond. So I'm still in favor of that. But as far as, you know, the 0% as well, just even if you don't do the renovations and the bond and raise for that, you know, in the years that I was on the board, every year our insurance went up $200,000, you know, so not even being able to anticipate those costs every year, and the contractual costs can kind of compound on itself. And so even if the bond is not and the renovations are a no, just really think about the future of what the costs are raising. And I'm sure you guys are doing that, but I encourage that, so, thank you.
Thank you. And just for everyone's sake too, and those listening in, you can come up. Sorry. I just wanted to say too that tonight's budget is a proposed budget. So when we approve that, it's just to the proposal that will be published publicly. Our final budget will be approved next month. So just for simplicity's sake regarding the budget.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Grimes. I'm supposed to get my address and stuff. 732 College Ave, Oakmont. I was getting ready to come today, and I had missed a couple meetings, so I just wanted to make sure that I knew what I was going to be experiencing, and I was up to speed. And so I was on the website, and I was looking at everything, and I had printed some things off, and I just had a moment of feeling really appreciative of the transparency that is currently taking place as we're approaching the budget season. And I was like, was it always like this? So I actually went back to exactly a year ago. And I just really, and there was a lot of missing stuff. There were not missing, it was there. It was the financial committee stuff was there, but it was blank, right? And so I just wanted to point out that I know that the transparency that's currently in place is noted, but it's also, I know that it's all of you guys that have worked towards that and the leadership of this board. So I really wanted to just acknowledge that as you guys approach your discussions and the votes that are coming in the next month or so. So thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Like I said, we'll have a second one at the end of the meeting. So if you want to come up then, feel free. Moving into line item 5, motions for approval under finance. Mr. Kennard, take it away.
Okay. 5A, motion to approve the following. Recommend approval and the direct advertisement of the Riverview School District proposed final general fund budget for the 2026-2027 school year with total expenditures of $29,600,000 and a total revenues of $29,365,000, which budget includes a millage increase of 0% for a total of 25.5 mils. The proposed budget will be available for public inspection at the Riverview School District Central Office and will be available on the Riverview School District website. A public hearing of the budget will occur on June 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at the Riverview Junior Senior High School Library at 100 Halton Road, Oakmont, PA 15139. Citizens are invited to attend this hearing and make comments or ask questions about the proposed final budget. Okay. Can I get a motion to discuss?
Pear, so moved.
Chaparro, second.
Perfect. Any discussion on the proposed initial budget?
I guess I'll start with the fact that I was a little bit confused as to why this is laid out as a 0%, because in past years it's usually been recommended at a quarter or something to start at, and then obviously come June we can revise accordingly. So I was a little bit confused as to how you would want us to vote on this tonight, because I disagree with 0%. I think that's not going to sustain us for what we need, regardless of renovations proposed. Its teachers would be lost, services, other things would be lost at 0%, separate of any kind of.
I don't know where 0% came either. I feel like I missed a meeting, but I didn't.
Well, I think I'm asking for clarity as to how we're voting on it. I understand that we're proposing it as, if we do nothing, here's 0%. These are the teachers lost. These are the programs lost. There's no renovations happening. There's no bond issue happening. Or we can do quarter, half, et cetera.
Let me chime in really quick.
Yeah.
We can move to amend that number this evening. It was more so based off of our discussions last week. I think Ms. Lubert was taking the conservative side of everything, that it's just a proposed budget. So it's just going out as the proposal. It doesn't need to be the final budget that we approve. So I get what you're saying, but we can also amend that.
Last week she recommended the full amount though. That's what she recommended.
I know. I'm saying that when the administration made the agenda this evening, or made the agenda last week, they put it in as just a flat 0. That was administration, but Dr. English made a comment about that this evening earlier when we first started that he is recommending that at a minimum we do the 0.3249 or the 94, sorry, 0.3294, which would get us to a zero flat, no deficit of the 233 or 35,000, right? So that's what he was talking about during the STEM position, that it would cover all 7 positions plus the 2 new ones, all personnel amounts in there. So that was earlier in the evening. So if someone wants to make that motion now, we absolutely can. And I guess I'll actually make the
So to
motion.
clarify, we have to do a 1.25% to basically be breaking even and not lose any personnel.
Correct.
That's fair.
Yes. And if Ms. Lubert wants to chime in too,
Yeah, I apologize. I do what the board wants me to do, and I didn't really get an indication as to what everyone wanted, but I had showed you the deficit. I did also give you these handouts this evening to show you the differential on the increase in millage. So I just assumed that this would be the time where we would have a discussion and the board. I do recommend, based on CLR, based on everything I presented last week, I recommend full index of 0.8925. I did not assume that that would be a board motion. Therefore, I wanted you all to make the decision, and I'm at the board's will.
And so is this conversation, it's two-pronged essentially, right? It's getting the budget to 0 with the 3294.
Right.
And then it's the conversation around the expansion addition.
yes.
So how do we handle those conversations? Do we want to handle them all together? Or
Well,
do
so-
we say, hey, let's approve and get this to 0? We're at
That's Dr.
3294,
English's
and then-
suggestion tonight
Okay.
is to, if the board is willing to come to an agreement now on the 0.3294 in our proposed, which theoretically could change once we vote on the final. This is not listed as a final budget, so it could theoretically change. However, if we can get to an agreement this evening, at least on that, that sort of solidifies, okay, here's our direction, and if people have super strong feelings about it when we discuss the final proposed budget next month, then that can be reevaluated then, but hopefully by that point, we're really just talking about the consideration of the construction and moving forward to the max index or staying at the 0.3294 at a minimum, because that gets us at least our teachers and our personnel solidified, right? So that we're trying to do it two-pronged, but again, I don't fault Ms. Lubert, because our discussion last week was not a solid, conclusive, yes, we're voting on an increase at a minimum of whatever our personnel is going to be, or leveling us out. That was not a conclusion that we came to as a board, so we should not ask our administration to have a finite number in there. However, they were proactive in taking our feedback from that meeting to get us this revised chart that does indicate here's what it would be as a millage increase to get us to 0, because that was not there last week, right? So they did their job. Our job is now to discuss whether or not we are okay with at least going to that 0.3294 and then moving it forward from there. Cool?
Yeah, thank you. And no apologies at all, Ms. Lubert. I was just clarifying, like, where we are before, where will get us to 0, and then what's on top of that, so.
And I think that's good for next week too, because then, with the person coming to talk about the bond, it'll provide some nice foundation, nice groundwork from that. And then that will be the focus. That will be the entire focus of your discussions next week.
Next week, don't you?
Yeah, he's pushing for that.
June 1st.
Want to be here.
June 1st.
All good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Michelle will
Make sure
not
we're
be here next
projecting
week.
so people in the back.
Yeah.
All right. Did you hear me could you all hear me in the back?
Yeah,
Did you hear me that time?
I could tell. I could see their face. People were squinching their face.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also wanted to add, so the 0.3294, like dollars wise, that would be about $65 like increase if you have like a $200,000 house. So if you want to think about it in terms of dollars, how that will affect like the average taxpayer, that'll be like a $65 increase on a $200,000 house. Okay.
That's a logistical question. When taxes are raised, if the decision is made to move forward with 3294 or whatever the number happens to be, when does that go into effect?
July 1, that's when tax bills go out. What happens is the board approves the final budget, and then all of my documentation goes together in the resolution over to PA Municipal, and the tax bills are printed and mailed out.
Got it.
So July 1 is normally July 1 to December 31 is the collection period at discount, at face, and at penalty.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
One other question then, for if we're considering anything between the 1.25 and the 3.5, do either of those levels get us anywhere near that bond needed, or I guess what would those get us, I guess?
So on this page,
Yeah.
This is the documentation. I did add an additional line of the .3294 that shows the dollar amount that was on the finance presentation from last week. So the bottom page,
Yeah.
the last column,
Which is essentially a bond payment on $8 million.
yes.
400.
Yeah. So that's the 401 increase is the 1.25 and the 3.5. That's the additional 400,000.
Right, I'm just saying, like, if we're proposing, okay, we're not at 0, we want to be at 1.25 to start, be proposing that. But then come next month, people can say, no, 1.96, no, 2.94, like, you can go around those different numbers. If we can't get that $8 million bond until we get to the 3.5, what would 2% get us? In terms of like any of that project?
What are the differences that it
Yeah,
gives us? Yeah.
like would there be any point in doing 2%?
So Sheila does that rate down here. So the 1.96% gets us an additional 121,000. The 2.94 gets us an additional 300,000, and then the 3.5 gets us to the 401,000.
That doesn't get us that bond.
But I think you're asking,
Yeah.
this is a $10 million bond that we've been discussing.
$8
million.
Eight-
Thank
$8 million.
you.
Yeah.
So at 401, it covers an $8 million bond.
Yes.
If at 300,000, what bond does that cover?
Well, it still covers it. Remember the payment
About
was
6.
200 and something thousand for the initial year.
Yeah.
And every subsequent year, it was about 400 to
25.
430,000.
Yeah, somewhere.
So I mean, it does cover it for the first year, presumably, at least if we went up to the 2.94, somewhere in the middle there, if we went to about whatever, but the subsequent years is the issue, right? And that's where Sheila's proposal of going to the max was, because if we did that 400,000, that first year, we won't make the bond payment until the end of that first year. So we would theoretically gain interest on whatever that 401,000 is, and then use that and roll it over into subsequent years, and each year it would continue to make interest. My only, we talked about this a little bit last week, my only issue with that is that we're not going to get 100% interest rate, right? Wherein it's going to give us dollar for dollar what we're putting in, meaning that if we put in 400,000, a 50% interest rate, which we're also not going to get, would give us another 200,000 for the subsequent year, right? We're not going to get as much of a return on the 400,000 that we would like, so that it makes it flat even each year. And I know that the bond person is going to come in and talk about that more, so I don't want to like get too deep in the weeds with it, but I mean, that was the premise of our
I think the other piece
conversation
here are
last
the capital fund, which we have about $5.6 million in. And I think the other thing that we talked about in the finance meeting, we're going to get to all of this later in the agenda, but we're going to have our auditor look at what the appropriate capital level is, capital expenditure account level is for a school our size. But gut feeling, it's probably around $2 million So we would have between like 3.6 and 4 million out of the capital fund to put toward the project with an $8 million bond would cover the main project, even with the overrun that they're estimating, potential overrun.
And not just the interest on the 400,000, but you would get one more year of interest on the whole
full 8
amount.
million.
Yeah, so that would just help.
Yeah.
And
Essentially,
it all
if you
helps.
go in between that, it works for the first year, but it makes it less comfortable for subsequent years.
So far, the numbers we've gotten now, Alicia we'll see what she says, not next week, but on June 1st,
Yeah.
we will see what she says.
There you go.
And she'll have much more detailed information in terms of the bond and then offsetting the bond with the money in our current capital
I think the other thing,
reserves.
making sure that this is a qualified bond so that interest rates will be lower in 5 years and we can refi out of it into a lower interest rate. And so that'll lower our debt burden in a couple of years.
And rates right now seem to be going up like gas prices.
They are.
So we need to be cognizant of a timeline and jump when those rates would drop. So
Yeah, you wouldn't have to
you wouldn't have
take
to
it
go
out
and
right
take the
away.
bond
You
out right
could
now.
wait and be
You could-
strategic about it and sort of jump whenever our
Yeah.
expert would say,
And Alicia will speak to that.
yeah. She'll talk about that on June 1st.
Next month.
Next month,
Also,
she will
to-
discuss that.
And you may be talking about this later on in your report, so I apologize again if I'm jumping ahead. Are we taking 2 million out of our capital reserves to put as like almost a down payment on the bond?
It would be
and then-
available for us to use as part of the project.
Okay.
Between 3.6 and 4 million, we think.
But that takes us down from our 8 million that we're allowed to have in there, correct? Like, isn't it
8%.
our
I don't think we're
8% that
limited on
they-
our capital fund, are we?
No, not.
I think it's just
not
It's-
capital. That's just
Okay.
fund balance. fund.
Yeah, it's not like the general fund where we have a cap, right?
Recommended
Correct.
percentage or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what we want to talk to the auditor about is what is that proper amount for a district our size with our budget? To
Okay.
make sure that we're not taking too much out.
That makes sense. So what is everyone's feeling about 0 to 1.25%, knowing that you're not necessarily married to it next month, but if we want to have more of a discussion on what that's looking like, we should try to have it now so that we can switch gears next month. But it does mean a tax increase.
I think for me, that's the floor, is the 1.25%.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. The 1.25 is the minimum because, I mean, to me, that's not negotiable to lose teachers and programs, and that's not even accounting for any renovations. So I'm actually, say, definitely more inclined with going to the full and trying to utilize those capital reserves and get the bond. But if we don't necessarily have to decide that number right now, we don't have to. But I'm certainly not in favor of anything less than 1.25.
I feel the same way.
I mean, I want to see us maintain programs, and I think adding a teacher is going to enhance our programming. So I'm comfortable with doing the 1.25% increase. I appreciate that we're having separate discussions about these two things because I also feel like it needs to be clear to the public what we're choosing and where the money is going to specifically. So I think it's much easier for the public to understand if we're having these conversations separately, though I know that we're trying to, build the plane while it's flying.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't talked to anybody that says we should cut programs. Most people actually seem to be in favor of the renovations as well, but that I'm still kind of, obviously the numbers have to shake out the right way. And I had some ideas about that too, even like, would we possibly raise taxes to the index, but then hold off for a year, maybe do all the soil testing ahead of time so you kind of clear things up a little bit, but have money in reserve and then maybe you wouldn't have to borrow as much. So, but yeah, definitely at least the 1.25.
Yeah, I'm in a similar vein on the 125 being the backstop. I do think they're two separate conversations, so I think the second one will be much more in depth. I think the concern is, the reason why we're doing the 125 is to get us to 0 on a budget, not inclusive of any sort of outside capital improvements. So the question is, we're sitting here next year, are we having a similar conversation on a 125? Right? It's like, then it becomes death by a thousand paper cuts. Right? We're sitting here, we're trying to get to 0. It's really hard to do that with all of the increases that happen on an annual basis that you mentioned. You get all that. But the thought is, right, and I don't want to throw a curveball into this, but do you do bigger so that we know that in 2 or 3 years we don't need to keep incrementally raising taxes? It doesn't matter if it's $65, right? $65, then it's another conversation about taxes next year. It's $65, then it's another conversation about $65. That's just where my head goes.
No,
As I sort of
you're right.
think about future, right?
Yeah.
And just trying to be able to get that budget balanced and all of the mechanics that work so hard to be able to do that. Just sometimes the math doesn't work. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good point too, and I think that's, it speaks to Ms. Lubert's point about going to the max index simply for the fact of then we have that money to gain interest over a certain period of time, right? Because what you're saying is almost like playing with credit cards for students in personal finance, right? The idea is you're almost paying only the minimum payment, and then the next month is going to hit when you gain that interest, and now all of a sudden you didn't really see any change in your overall amount that's on your credit card really decreasing because the interest just tacked right back on. And so it's that idea of, okay, well, we're bringing us to 0, but then it doesn't level set us for future years. It just does that for now. But then the question then becomes, okay, well, if we level set for multiple years, then we've now tied up that 401,000 to future years, not to the upgrade. Because in that instance, I would be in favor of going to the max index if we were talking about future years for making sure that we're not running into a funding cliff for these teachers, right? Because we're, like I said, we have the REA contract that's coming up. We have the park, which we just actually, Ms. Schutz and I this weekend met with Borough Council to discuss what they're looking for in terms of increasing the lease, which their initial proposal is $9,000 to $54,000 a year. Makes sense because the contract was created back in 73. There you go. 73 before some people were born in this room. A lot of people, being our students, right? So, in that vein, that's a significant increase that the district is looking at on top of others, and so it does become a funding cliff of, okay, each year we're just going to be trying to stay above water, and that's what we've kind of been doing since I've been on the board. We've been increasing each year, but we've been trying to meet in this middle so that it's not so polarizing to our community, but then at the same time it runs us into this idea each year of, okay, well, now we need to level set again. So, I mean, I'm in favor clearly of the 1.25, which I wouldn't say normally, but I do want those teachers in those positions. I think that the district needs it. But then on the top of it, I would be in favor of the max, absent the renovations for maybe a year and we revisit the subject, and possibly do some of the soil testing, but also look into within the next year for the administration. I don't know if this is something they would be willing to consider or speak on next meeting, but holding off on that project for a year to then also look into other avenues of funding sourcing. So grants, projects, donations from big corporations, anything that we could get our hands on to kind of facilitate some momentum towards it versus going to the max to start that initial momentum. Anyone else?
And the general thought process around going to get the bond now is more around favorable interest rates? Because there's money in the fund, right? To be able to kickstart the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think not just interest rates, but the longer, the project will just cost more. Next year it'll cost more, the year after it'll cost more.
Theoretically, our
You know,
kitchen
but if
cost
you-
less this year, right? Versus the year
But if
before.
they're
Redesign the whole
Minus-
thing.
The materials and the labor,
Yeah.
it has not, won't
I
go,
got you.
won't go, that will never go down. I
Right.
mean, that will
We
just.
wouldn't actually get the bond money until we need it.
Yeah.
And also, the interest rate is favorable to us.
Exactly.
Because to your point, we do have a significant amount of money in the capital fund to start the project. Like, we can get started with $3 or $4 million. And then wait till the right time to take the bond.
Yeah.
I just don't think that delaying things or trying to like, you know, piecemeal each year, it makes sense. You know, like what Kareem was basically saying, like, well, this gets us to even, and then next year we have to try to get to even again, and you know, it's just sort of kicking the can down the road, if you will, of, and then you're not really adding big improvements, or you are, but it's like 7 years later, you finally get around to actually doing it. And I think that we need to stay current and competitive, which I know always sounds strange given that we're a public school, but it is the case that when you don't have the facilities that other districts have or other private schools have, then people will look elsewhere for those things. And they can live in Oakmont and pay taxes, but they can send kids somewhere else if we don't have a functioning auditorium at the high school, or we don't have a field to have kids play on, or whatever it is. So that is what it is. So, I mean, things cost money. Nothing's going to get cheaper in year 2, year 5. Like, so I think the longer you wait, it's just going to get more expensive. And I know nobody wants to raise taxes, but at the same time, you want your home values to maintain to be what they are.
So Ms. Lubert and I will have a very detailed, easy to digest sort of one pager that will have some of the costs that Mr. Paris was talking about, possible cost in a teacher contract. They're all ballpark things, and a couple of years out, so that you have as much information as you can to make an informed decision for next week. We will do our best to help you out, and make sure you have lots. June 1st, we will have lots of information for you to make this decision as informed as possible. I promise. On June 1st, we will do that.
I just have one more question, because it's relevant, I think, to what we were just talking about. When we talk about like soil testing to figure out where the water table is and everything, I know. I mean, obviously, this high school was built decades ago, late '60s, early '70s, right? Do we still have access to like the data that they had there? Because the water table probably hasn't changed a ton. And then on top, no, I know, but it might be somewhere. And then additionally, the Halton Bridge, when that was constructed, that wasn't that long ago. I'm sure they also did soil testing.
We have that, but you know, for a big project like this, I don't want to speak on behalf of the person, because that is not my area of expertise.
Gathering all the possible
Of course,
data
yeah.
that's out there is my point.
Of course, yeah.
Good point. It is.
Can you hear me back there?
Okay, so I am going to make a motion to revise number 1 under 5A to be 1.25% rather than 0% as the proposed. Is there a second for that motion?
Kennard, second.
And then you want
Okay.
25.8294 mils as well, right?
Yes, sorry, to change the millage and the percentage. So there's a second. We have to vote on that, and then, Mr. Kennard, you'll call for a vote on all of number 1, okay?
Sylvia, could you guys hear in the back the millage number? Just to make sure, because it was hard to hear. So it would be 1.25%, at which the millage would then be 25.8294. Just want to make sure it's audible.
Okay.
And you'd have to change the amount, right? It would be literally 29.
No, that doesn't change.
Yes,
It would
Does it?
change,
it
yeah,
changes
would
to
change-
29.
That makes
It would
zero,
change
yeah.
to
Change
be
the revenue.
Oh,
29,000.
29,600.
29
Yeah.
Total revenue.
600,000.
So
Yep.
Yeah,
If-
29,600,000.
how about I read through my motion?
Please.
Okay. I move for the following: to recommend the approval and direct the advertisement of the Riverview School District proposed final general fund budget for the 2026-2027 school year with total expenditures of $29,600,000 and total revenues to now $29,600,000, which budget includes a millage increase of 1.25% for a total of 25.8294 mils. The proposed budget will be available for public inspection at the Riverview School District Central Office and will be available on the Riverview School District website at www.rsd.k12.pa.us. And a public hearing of the budget will occur on June 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Riverview Junior Senior High School Library at 100 Halton Road, Oakmont, PA 15139. Citizens are invited to attend this meeting and make comments or ask questions about the proposed final budget. Do I have a motion to change that?
Schutz, so moved.
Chaparro, second.
Okay, all those in favor of amending item 5A1?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. All those who abstain? Okay, ayes have it. Now, Mr. Kennard, if there's no more discussion, if you want to call for a roll call of
Okay.
our new amended 5A1, that would be perfect.
Okay, as Antonio so stated, can we get a roll call vote on the amended Article 5A?
Ms. Chaparro.
Aye.
Mr. Kennard.
Aye.
Mr. Gahed.
Aye.
Ms. Jacobs-Rohan. Ms. Metzger.
Aye.
Mr. Paris.
Aye.
Ms. Schutz. Aye. Ms. Siri.
Aye.
Mr. Smales.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Moving on to 5B, motion to approve the following contracts and agreements subject to final review and approval of the solicitor. 1, 2026 extended school year with Watson Institute, WISCA program for student X for dates July 8th through 10th, July 13th through 17th, July 20th through 24th, student X1 and X2 for dates July 8th through 24th, Friendship Academy for student X for dates June 24th through July 23rd, 2026. Number 2, agreement between Riverview School District and UPMC Western Psychiatric Hospital for the Student Assistance Program for the 2026-2027 school year. Number 3, agreement between Riverview School District and Educational Technology Management Services Quest Tech for the 2026-2027 school year. Number 4, agreement between Riverview School District and Seton Hill University Clinical Education Agreement Nursing Program beginning July 2026. Number 5, services agreement between Riverview School District and the Allegheny Intermediate Unit for the 2026-2027 school year. Number 1, the AIU Services Guide for 2026-2027. Number 2, AIU Services Agreement for Special Education Addendum for 2026-2027. And number 3, AIU Special Education Pricing Guide for 2026-2027. Number 6, contracted services between Riverview School District and Waterfront Learning for 2026-2027. Number 7, MOU with the Oakmont Borough regarding Field Light Project. Can I get a motion for discussion?
Paris, so moved.
Gahettel second.
Okay. Antonio, I think number 7 is up for vote later under your section also. The MOU.
I apologize, it very well might be because it was.
And it just might be.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Does that come
I
off this
think
section?
I think it has to come off this section,
Yep.
my apologies. It's in, that's right, I will strike it. I don't remember where
It's under MOUs, the catch.
Oh, yes.
It's under governance because it's an MOU. I apologize, who is the second?
I was.
Thank you.
5 and 6 separately?
No, they're just, those AIU pieces are just they're just talking about what they offer, and
okay.
it's nothing that we're like actually purchasing or taking or paying to the AIU, so.
Any discussion? Okay. So I'll move to vote. All those in favor of items 1 through 6?
We should do roll call for the other one.
I think we have to do roll call for the next one, but not for this one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, okay, gotcha.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And all those who abstain? Okay, the ayes have it. 5C, motion to approve the following contracts agreement subject to final review and approval of the solicitor number 1, Forbes Road Career and Technology Center, 2026 through 2027, general operative and administrative budgets by roll call vote.
Ms. Chaparro.
Aye.
Mr. Kennard.
Aye.
Mr. Gahead.
Aye.
Ms. Jacobs Rohan.
Aye.
Ms. Metzger.
Aye.
Mr. Paris.
Aye.
Ms. Schutz. Aye. Ms. Siri.
Aye.
Mr. Smales.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. And finally, the second 5C, which probably should be 5D. Motion to approve the following capital purchases. Number 1, food service management contract renewal with Metz Culinary Management effective for the 2026-2027 school year as per the terms of the RFP. And number 2, motion to approve the rekeying of Riverview School District by Builders Hardware Co-Stars number 008 E22988 in the amount of $106,219 as presented. Can I get a motion for discussion?
Chaparro, so moved.
Siri, second.
Okay, any discussion on these 2 items?
Just for clarification's sake, these 2 items will be relabeled to D, motions for approval under finance, items D, 5D, because we just voted on 5C.
Yep.
Sorry.
Just a point of clarity that the rekeying is gonna be reimbursed in full. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. At this point, move to vote. All those in favor of 5D?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? And all those who abstain? Okay, ayes have it.
Okay.
Mr. Paris, clarification, actually 5D should be 1 and 2, not actually, it was a typo, it should not say 5C, because it's actually part of the contracts and agreements. So if you're okay with it, I'm gonna just fix it on the 5D section with the numbering, and keep this section as 5C. Because Forbes is a contract and agreement.
Right, but because it required a roll call vote, it was separated out.
Right, I just mislabeled the separation out. It should have been 5B1, 5B2. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I had it originally. I'll just renumber the items. Or
So
do
it
you want me
stays in
to-
contracts.
Because it is a contract and agreement.
Okay, so then it would be 5C7 or 5B7.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Auto numbering.
Okay. So we will now move into item number 7, motions for approval under education. Ms. Metzger?
All right, 7A, motion to approve the following, all 2026 graduation candidates for the award of diploma as presented in pending high school principal final. It's not on?
You're good.
Oh, it's on. Okay. Final approval, fulfillment of all requirements. Can I get a motion at this time?
Jacobs Rohan.
Schutz, second.
All right, is there any, discussion?
Just congratulations in advance to this class, and many of you are sitting here
Since
tonight.
half of them are here.
so.
Diplomas? Is that what
Yes.
How
Wait,
awesome is that?
Okay.
you confer, you, as
This
a
is the
board,
list of you getting a
Otherwise,
diploma. This
you
is
have
the
to
real deal.
confer on the potential graduates, their diplomas. So your approval today is doing that.
Got it. Okay. Right.
Screen with like a staff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I knight you.
My staff today.
Yes, so congratulations, seniors, is all I would also like to say.
Final approval from the
Right.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
still show up. Today's not it. You still
They have
to
our
keep going.
preliminary approval.
There you go. That's right.
They'll be like, the board told us, we're out.
Right, right.
Showed up
We're
anyway.
done. They said we don't have to do any work.
Fine.
Are there any other comments or questions? Nah, okay. There being none, all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 All right, looks like the ayes have it.
Call for opposition.
Oh, any call for opposition? Any opposition? Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Welcome, thank you. All right, moving into item number 8, motions for approval under board governance. Item number 8A is a motion to approve the following. 1, our board procedure discussion. 2, our board policy review, 005, third reading, and our board policy review, second reading, as listed. Do I have a motion at this time?
Siri, so moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Siri. Do I have a second?
Gaffett will second it.
Thank you. In terms of our board procedure, Mr. Gahead brought up a good point that we could possibly add in the piece under communication that all of our board communications should go through our district email or are recommended to go through our district email and or district devices. I don't think that that's a bad addition. It's in line with our with the Sunshine Act. I think that for August, I'm hoping that our solicitor during one of our executive sessions will be so gracious, him or our fill-in solicitor, Mr. Thomas, last week, would be so gracious as to provide us with professional development in our executive session of the Sunshine Act just to review it. But I think that this is a good start. So I would be in favor of adding in the proposed language, which I can also read to you in a second. Under item or
Number
under the
5.
communication section, yeah.
Yeah.
Item number 5, it would read, all board communications may constitute public records and should be maintained in accordance with applicable record retention and right to know requirements. Again, just being that we know as board members that they should go through our district emails. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that also, because like the question I had last week about what's our preferred communication channel, going both ways, administration to board, board to administration. So that way everybody's clear to just use our district email, not personal email, not text message, all the other ways.
Well, you can use it however you want. Let's put it that way. You should.
But it's preferred.
Yes, you should do it through your district because then you do not open yourself up to the liability of your personal emails, text messages, devices being searched for a right to know request or potential litigation. However, should you choose to use your personal cell, right? I know that I do use my personal cell to contact Dr. English via text, so I am subjecting myself to that. That is something that you should know taking that on, right? Or I put my personal cell in my signature in my email.
Right.
But other than that, that's the liability you carry, but we should at least do as much through our emails as possible.
Makes sense.
For clarification, on board emails that the recording board secretary sends out and superintendents.
You may send them, everyone may still send them to our personals, as long as our board emails are also on there. Because then the email lives in our board email, and there's no reason to go into the personal email unless unless an individual board member replies from their personal email, which then subjects them to it, but it's not you or Dr. English that are subjected.
Continue as I currently
absolutely.
I think that's important too, because of a timeliness. Like during the day, I'm not on my school computer, on my work computer, you know, so if there's something urgent to see before the meeting, you still want to be able to receive the information, even if you're not going to reply.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt to have it sent to both places.
Agreed. Is that, so before we move forward, is that a friendly amendment to be added in this evening? Does everyone agree to that being amended to include that language?
Yes.
Yes? Cool.
Mhm.
Okay. Perfect. Does anyone have any other items for discussion under board governance and regulations? Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Gahead, for your work.
One more clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
This isn't a policy, I don't have to put it back on as a 1, 2, or 3.
Correct.
This is just a procedure, we're done.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Alrighty. All those in favor of approving items 1 through 3 under 8A, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. And all those who abstain. Okay, ayes have it. Moving into 8B, approval for board governance items. Item number 1, the MOU with the Oakmont Borough regarding the Field Lake project. Do I have a motion at this time?
Chaparro, so moved.
Schutz, second.
Thank you, Ms. Chaparro and Ms. Schutz. Any discussion?
So there's 4 different PDFs. Is it the same thing?
Yep, that's Dylan's problem.
Okay. Just confirming.
Saving it or duplicate saving it?
Okay.
Okay, so nothing's changed since last time.
Well, duplicate saving is better than not saving at all.
Okay, okay. I just want to be sure I wasn't missing some new revisions. Okay.
So you all get it.
That's a
4
lot.
times. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of item 8B1, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify, thank you, sorry. All those opposed signify by saying nay, and all those who abstain. Okay, ayes have it.
Who were the 2 people here?
Ms. Chaparro and Ms. Schutz. Okay, moving right along to motions for approval. Under personnel, item 9A, our long-awaited. Oh, it's not our long-awaited, sorry. One more. Okay, 9A1, I will ask for a motion to approve the voluntary retirement incentive for the teacher unit professional employees offered by Riverview School District for the school year ending in June 30th, 2026 for the following people. Mr. Joe Perino, under the music department, thank you for your 33 years of service to the district. Miss Chris Yanelitis, special education, thank you for your 30 years to the district. Miss Kristen Rapp, first grade, for her 29 years of service. Mr. Steve Rowe, sixth grade teacher, for his 24 years of service. And Miss Jennifer Kettler, for our guidance, under 20 years of service. Thank you all so much. If I could ask for a round of applause for those individuals. Thank you again. Now I will ask for a motion for that. Do I have a motion?
Siri, so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Siri.
Chaparro, second.
Thank you, Ms. Chaparro. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of approving 9A1, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. And all those who abstain. The ayes have it. Thank you again. Moving into item 9B for approval of personnel items under employment. I will ask for a motion for items as presented 9A or 9B1 through 8, being that 8 was replaced with 9, with a specific call out for the following. This is the one or no? Actually, it's, yes. That's what I thought. Specifically, item 1, Mr. Patrick Kelly as a temporary professional employee, Master Step 1, effective August 14th, 2026, according to the RSD, REA, CBA at Riverview Junior Senior High School Social Studies, replacing the position open from employee retirement pending any necessary clearance and health requirements. Thank you for being here this evening. Number 2, Miss Samantha King as a temporary professional employee, Master Step 10, effective August 14th, 2026, according to the RSD, REA, CBA at Riverview Junior Senior High School, Special Education, replacing the position open from employee retirement and pending any necessary clearance and health requirements. And then, 5, correct? It's number 5, right? And then number 5, Mr. K. Adam Kometz as a temporary professional employee, Master Step 10, effective August 10th or 14th, 2026, according to the RSD, REA, CBA at Verner Elementary, guidance replacing the position open from employee retirement, pending any necessary clearance and health requirements. Thank you all 3 for being here this evening. Do I have a motion at this time?
Siri, so moved.
Thank you, Ms. Siri. Do I have a second?
Gahead will second.
Thank you, Mr. Gahead. Any discussion? Again, I just want to say thank you to our administration for getting these positions filled as quickly as possible and finding some excellent candidates. We truly appreciate it. I know you guys have your hands full. Oh, what I keep hitting. But we do appreciate it immensely. So thank you all. And thank you for your willingness to be here. Alrighty. Any other discussion points? Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor of 9B items presented 1 through 8, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay. Okay. And all those who abstain. Okay. Ayes have it. Welcome to the district. Thank you. Okay. Moving on for motions for approval under personnel, item number C, athletics. I will ask for a motion tonight for the approval of, I will read some, but not all. So as listed, with the following highlighted. 1, the 2026-2027 athletic and non-contracted volunteer and club supplemental positions as attached, and all the coaches as event workers. Number 2, the proposed girls basketball coaching position adjustments for the 2026-2027 school year. Number 3, the proposed football coaching position adjustments for 2026-2027 school year. And number 4, the proposed junior high co-ed soccer coaching position adjustments for 2026-2027 season, keeping in mind that all of these are cost neutral to the district. Do I have a motion at this time?
Siri, so moved.
Chaparro, second.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Schutz second.
Should third.
Third.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just happy to retain a lot of these folks and add some new as well.
Yeah,
Sure.
agreed. And happy to see things cost neutral to the district. Much appreciated, honestly. Okay, anything else? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of approving motions 9C, 1 through 4, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. And all those who abstain. Ayes have it. Okay. Moving right along to our second hearing of citizens. This is for any community member wishing to come up and speak. I'd ask that you state your name and address and speak right into the microphone. Please keep in mind that your comments are limited to 3 minutes. They may be for any school-related topics. And please also keep in mind that The board does not typically respond to public comments, but rather takes them in for future governance and information, and that they are also going to be recorded as our meetings are recorded. If there's anyone wishing to come up and speak at this time, please do so.
Hello, I'm Michael Pagnotta, 439 11th Street. I'm a music educator over in Borough School District. I'm here today with a big request, and I know that as somebody who sits through a lot of the financial meetings and the financial requests over in Borough School District, as part of my position over there, I know what I am asking for is a big request, and I'm asking for you to consider hiring 2 music teachers to replace Mr. Perino. I know that you currently operate in a district with 3, and right before COVID, there was one position that was eliminated. Our field can do a lot of jobs. The K-12 certification is very broad and can cover a lot of things, but what you ask for of the music educators here is quite a lot. I know a lot of the names of the people applying for this open position and their careers and their capabilities, and I believe that you can find 2 very good candidates who can do very good things for our district here. So I just encourage you to consider that, if not for this upcoming year or for the one after. I know what it costs to add an employee. I ask my district for one all the time for my own department, so I know very well what I'm asking for. I would also encourage you to at least at some point sit down with your current music department members and find out what exactly they need, how many people they need to do their job the best as possible, without overburdening them or asking too much of what they're capable of. Because they can do a lot of great things, they do a lot of wonderful things, but I do worry that they get stretched too thin with the high demand across the K-12 spectrum with lots of travel in their job. I want to see them do even more excellent things by giving more opportunity to connect to their students in better ways that are better fitted for all of their excellent capabilities. So that's my request. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I did actually want to piggyback off of his statement, just like as someone who was a para at the school, and I've sat in on some music classes, I have seen, for example, Mr. Liable, when he's preparing right before we have a performance, as he's teaching to maximize like his time, because there's not enough time to do everything with the number of staff we have, he would teach his class and tune instruments at the same time. And you're wondering, well, how can he possibly do that? Well, he would have a video playing of himself that he recorded, like a class during COVID. And so the kids would learn from that video of him talking to himself on the screen. And then he's also tuning like 100 instruments at the same time. And so our music staff teachers, they do a whole lot, maybe more than one person can feasibly do, which is why they are making some accommodations. So I just wanted to add on to that personal experience that I saw. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Emily Erdeljak, F. Tanis, 143 Oak Meadow Drive. I wanted to thank Ms. Chaparro for last week bringing up the campus box media issue, and the board for talking about, discontinuing that program. I know that it was discussed during last week's board meeting that would be on tonight's agenda, just to formally agree that a letter would be sent out from the solicitor ceasing that relationship with that company. So it is RABA's hope, and it is the basketball boosters' hope that the board will move forward with that, and that program will no longer be used. So thank you.
Good evening. Ernie Tillman, 1231 Pennsylvania. It's my understanding that June 1st is a study session, not the public voting meeting.
Correct.
I think it needs to be made clear that on June 8th, if a person comes up here and wants to say something about the budget, it's almost meaningless, because you're going to vote 15 minutes later on the budget. So if the public wants to really comment on a budget, it's got to be June 1st, because it's a done deal. The other thing is, looking at all my old data, for 10 years, expenditures have gone up $1 million a year. It's what it is, $1 million a year. Local tax revenue, all taxes, local, just local, not state and federal, just around $400,000 a year. So, Ms. Chaparro, your comment about getting to zero, it's going to be tough every year. debt service went over that same period from 1.3 million a year to 1.6 right now, something like that. And I think if you do this $8 million bond, you're going to be looking at not the first year, but the second year and the next 28 years, you're going to be pushing $2 million. Again, on top of a shortfall that's already going to be there. So your $600,000 shortfall from taxes to expenditures, plus an additional debt service payment, isn't going to get any easier. So we can all put our rose-colored glasses on and say, you know, it's great to build this auditorium or this multi-purpose room, whatever you're calling it, and we're going to gain 40 seats from what we have at 10th Street. Okay, sell that to me, because you haven't. And I've read everything that you guys have published on it. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay. Thank you. At this time, we'll move into committee reports. Our first one being the Finance Committee. Mr. Kennard.
Perfect. Sheila, do you want to speak to this at all, or I can go ahead and get started, and then you can chime in if people have questions? Perfect. So we met this week to discuss the budget, and I think we've already hit a lot of the points here in terms of the expenditures being finalized, a little bit of unknowns around the open positions and the cost that those will come in at, depending on the teacher's experience, but pretty comfortable with the 29.6 million, as well as the revenue. We also have a little bit of question about what the state funding will come in at, as who knows when the state budget will be finalized. But again, being conservative and feel like we will at least get the 29.365 million. We also spoke about the possibility of floating that bond and what that would mean in terms of annual debt service, the implications that would have on raising the taxes this year, and also the possibility of using some of the capital fund that we have available to help pay for the project, where we have $5.6 million in the capital fund currently, and we reasonably could use $3.5 to $4 million of that to help finance the project. Yep, and we also heard from members of the community in support of the project. So I don't know if there's anything else, Sheila, that we want to talk about in detail that we haven't already spoke about earlier in the meeting. Perfect.
Yeah. Any questions for our finance chair? Okay. Well, it was just mentioned about the Boxcast, or not the Boxcast, the Gamecast.
Campus Box Media.
Thank you. Yeah. Campus Box Media, for the public's awareness, and we'll reflect it in our meeting minutes, but we'll have a letter that's sent out from the district that says that we will not be renewing the contract, just so that everyone's aware. No official vote needs to be taken on it. We're just renewing it.
It sounded like it was an auto-renewing agreement. There wasn't really a contract, so I guess it was just to make clear to the vendor that we're not participating anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that way they don't keep sort of auto-renewing us, I guess.
It's not an auto-renew, it's something that I've been signing for the last 8 years.
Okay.
So I just don't sign it.
Okay, that works.
It was just free product that was being
Yeah.
given to these kids to use.
No, it's fair. It was just a concern that there were some elements of it that seemed like it was competing with the boosters' efforts as well. So that's
That's the hard part. It's a nationwide company. They're going to continue to compete with all the local businesses in town no matter what anyway.
yeah.
So we can't ask them to not contact people here.
No,
We
that's
can.
fair.
We just can't,
But-
we just won't participate.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
We can
'Cause
ask
they
them
ask
not to do it on our
Our behalf, yeah, because they ask for a lot of districts. Yeah.
We can't control when they call here and ask them to do it on Fox Chat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's on them if they want to participate, but we're good.
Yes, and we've never let them do anybody here locally anyway, on any of our, on any of the stuff at the center.
Any other questions regarding that? Okay. Cool. Moving on to our education committee report, Ms. Metzger.
Sure. For education, elementary, all students grades 3 through 6 completed PSSA testing during the last 2 weeks of April. 10th Street had incoming kindergarten screening on April 8th and 9th. Verner had incoming kindergarten screening May 7th and May 8th. The final iReady diagnostic was completed the week of April 7th. For our junior senior high school, the Keystone exams, 5/12 through 5/19, AP exams on 5/15, and then others can take makeups, and final exams, so you guys here, 5/26 through 5/29, and the senior grades are due on 5/29. Senior breakfast and grad pictures, that will be on 6/1, and then graduation is on 6/4. So things are happening really quickly, and we have a quick sprint to summer. In addition, summer school credit recovery will begin July 1st through the 30th, and that will be 9 to noon, Monday through Thursday at the junior senior high school, which requires daily attendance, and up to 2 classes can be taken. Families will be contacted the first week after school if there's a need for a credit recovery. And that's the end of our education report.
Thank you, Ms. Metzger. Does anyone have any? Oh, yeah, go for it.
When do we have an idea on incoming kindergarten enrollment size?
Rolling.
Yeah, it's rolling. I can give you an update in your weekly.
Okay, great. Yeah.
How's that?
We had a conversation last week about the senior number.
Yeah.
So just curious to know how the incoming at the front end of that scale is coming in at.
Yeah, I can give you an update of where we're at. We meet monthly, but unfortunately, it's sort of over the summer. It can. There's a range.
Well, yeah.
They always
Some people
ask
wait
them to get them in at a certain date, but
You don't want them to wait,
Yeah.
but some people wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that you're gonna feel
I don't-
really overwhelmed.
It's not a huge number. Spoiler alert. It's not a huge number.
Yeah.
sometimes it is. You never know, but
It just, I mean, some people are still living in denial that their kids are going to kindergarten is the other piece of that.
There
That's
have
not
been
what I
some years
experienced
that
when I
were
taught K to 2.
big.
Mine was like, they were like, oh, my kid has to go to school. Oh, it's 2 weeks in and I should have enrolled them already. But that's not generally the case here, but.
There
that
have been
is
some
the
years where
reality in
they're a
some
big
places.
class. A couple years ago, we had nearly 100, so.
Yeah, correct, yeah, true.
any other questions for education or regarding education? Cool beans. Safety committee, there is no report. However, does anyone have questions for Miss Leanne, Miss Jacobs-Rohan, if she's still on? Yes. And then, and/or Miss Jacobs-Rohan, do you have anything to add for the board?
No, sorry.
No, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no report this week. Safety's coming up this Thursday. We're gonna meet.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions for the safety committee? Okay, seeing none. On to student life committee report, Mr. Smales.
All right, as usual, it's pretty beefy, but I'll give you the highlights. Werner, April 30th was the orchestra side-by-side concert, obviously held at 10th Street. Students in grade 5 presented their national perks projects to classes of Werner Elementary. Grades 5 and 6 attended the Financial Literacy Assembly. First and second graders had guest speakers from Minority Architects of America They shared their profession, had an activity, and each student received a book about being an architect. The math carnival took place for all students. Students moved throughout the cafeteria, participating at stations that challenged their math skills. Third grade at Werner visited the Kerr Museum on May 4th. Grades 1 through 3 participated in Discovery Ed Day on May 5th with a challenge activity brought to them through Remake Learning and Dr. Favo. And they're having a VIP breakfast tomorrow, and the 13th, tomorrow and Wednesday. Students may bring one very important person with them for breakfast. At 10th Street, on April 16th, 10th Street Elementary hosted its annual Spring Art Show and Book Fair. Families had the opportunity to view student artwork displayed throughout the building while also visiting the book fair, which once again generated tremendous excitement among our students and families. The evening was very well attended and showcased the creativity and talents of our students across all grade levels. And I can tell you from my own perspective, I was there, and it's wonderful as every year it's ever been. Our school-wide PBS initiatives continue through the Ready, Respectful, and Responsible raffles and incentives. Students earn tickets from staff members for demonstrating positive behaviors throughout the school day, and they have weekly raffles and special prizes in order to build positive school culture. Student Council is going to sponsor a hat day this Friday, May 15th. Proceeds from the event will help support our year-end Ready, Respectful, and Responsible Carnival, which will be held on Friday, May 29th. Monday, May 11th, students will participate, that was today, in the Carnegie Science Center's Chem Mystery program. Engaging presentation provides students with hands-on science experiences and interactive demonstrations designed to spark curiosity and excitement for science learning. Field Day is scheduled for Friday, May 22nd at Riverside Park. It's an annual tradition. My kids love it. It continues to be one of the highlights of the school year for our students. We're extremely appreciative of the tremendous parental support for this event, as more than 75 parent volunteers have already signed up to assist. Kindergarten, back to that, orientation for incoming kindergarten students and families will be held on Wednesday, May 20th. We're currently preparing to welcome 46 incoming kindergarten students to 10th Street Elementary for the 25-26 school year. And our elementary music programs will also be showcasing the hard work and dedication of our students during the upcoming performances. You have elementary and band and orchestra will be held on Thursday, May 14th at 7 p.m. They're all at 7 p.m. The elementary chorus concert will take place on Tuesday, May 19th, and we greatly appreciate the efforts of our music teachers in preparing students for these performances. Junior, senior high school, obviously senior awards night was this past Wednesday. Thanks for everybody in our community, the families, alumni, and supporters. The generosity continues to open doors for Riverview students. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Gene Kelly Awards. Congratulations to Campbell Miller as semifinalist for Outstanding Lead Actor as Gomez Adams, Grayson Peters, semifinalist for Outstanding Supporting Actor, and additionally, they also got a nomination for Outstanding Costume Design. Riverview boys and track and field team, obviously they advanced all the way to the Whitfield team championships, and the Riverview baseball team, which is happening right now at this very moment,
It's
they made it to the playoffs.
it's an extra innings right now. Top of the 8th. It's tied 4-4.
Wow. All
I'm
right.
getting the
So-
Mr. Hewitt's giving me the updates. 4-4 extra innings.
Oh, all right.
They're all competing this week.
Nice.
A
Excellent.
couple of them are on the 50-year-old record that they broke.
Cool.
Oh.
Congratulations, guys.
That took a minute for my brain to process when she said 50-year-old. I was like,
They broke
what?
a 50-year-old record, yes.
Yeah, they broke the record. That's 50 years old. Not they are 50 years old.
I think we're good there. Everything else is online if someone cares to read through all the. Oh, you know what? The last thing I want to add is they have the high school chorus concert on May 21st and the high school jazz band concert on the 28th. Those are also both at 7 p.m. at the 10th Street Auditorium. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Last thing. I really like this. I didn't actually realize this, but they also live stream all of our concerts on the Riverview website. So even if you can't make it, or obviously you're a family member in a different city, you can still tune in and see your loved one perform. I think that's a really nice touch that we should always make sure we continue doing. That is all.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Smales for student life? There's a lot happening in May, so hang on. If no questions, moving on, there is no policy committee report. I think we've had great discussions about policy the whole year, so we're kind of leveling off for the summer. We'll get back into it in the fall with our next meeting being in September. But are there any questions, and am I missing anything, Ms. Schutz, Mr. Gahed? Okay.
We're just rounding the end of it.
Yeah.
It's been a long year and a half.
Yes, it has.
Be on a new portal by the time we meet again.
I know. I did see that. There are trainings.
Yeah.
If you guys want them, but yeah, that is really exciting.
Lots of new things.
Okay. Moving on to our PSBA liaison report. Ms. Siri, take it away.
Thank you. Essential networking and learning for first-time directors. There is a sign-up you can access on my PSBA. At the bottom of my report, all of these things are hyperlinked that I'm mentioning. PSBA officer nominations are underway. They're asking for people who are interested. There's an application for nomination linked in my report, and they are due no later than June 1, 2026 at 5 p.m. You can also see all of the open positions and information about the election on my PSBA. The PSBA legislative platform, the proposals are being accepted through June. They close on June 26th. And all of that will be voted on at the Delegate Assembly on November 7th. If you have questions, want to know more about the platform adoption process, Tim Crane is the Manager of Government Affairs and Educational Policy at PSBA. I have his email linked on here. The School Safety Preparedness Certificate is still available through Penn SSI and Millersville University. You have to express interest in the fall cohort by September 30th, 2026, and then winter cohort applications are due January 27th, 2027. As well, PSBA is looking at proposed amendments for bylaws. They're due by Friday. So if you have any suggestions for changes to PSBA bylaws, or if you've read them and you want to see what they are, they're on my PSBA. You can peruse them in your free time when you don't have anything to do. And that, if that excites you. And then, yeah, exactly.
Hey, hold on. I'm sitting on
I know. Hey, we all get enjoyment from different things. I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. And then as usual, all of the different things that are available are through my PSBA are hyperlinked at the bottom of my report. There's a lot of different things. And I have another PSBA liaison thing. I think it's in July. I don't know. I already signed up for it. It's on my calendar. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for our PSBA liaison? Cool. Seeing none, we'll move into our delegate reports, starting with our communications and marketing delegate from Ms. Chaparro.
Thank you. First, thank you to Dr. Turk for all the hard work on the communications front, including even photography. I know there'll be lots more things coming out on all the channels because this month has already been jam-packed in the first 10 days. But so for April, I'll read through some of the highlights. We've created articles and posts leading up to or recapping various events around the district, including athletic events, classroom activities, field trips, and student accomplishments. Examples would be recognition of 2 of our Forbes Road Career and Technology Centers at the junior-senior high school, the Children's Choice Awards at 10th Street Elementary, and the All Kids Bike Grant at Berner Elementary. Other events and activities would be highlighting the inclusive carnival, sports recognitions, fire safety, and recognizing our wonderful paraprofessionals and administrative professionals. Always keeping the website up to date with new photos and listing current events around the district, as well as updating the superintendent's bulletin and food service page. Social media, all of the events and photos you can find on Facebook and X or Twitter. Academic, school, extracurricular athletic activities around the district. Various articles for each building, including grassroots grant, real-world financial guests, GSA fundraiser, Model UN wrap-up, and various school promotions for events and fundraisers, including the 26th Senior Athletic Honor Award Ceremony. and posted pictures and articles for these on both channels. We now also have 2 different X or Twitter pages, so one for the district and one for athletics, so that way we're posting things accordingly. Athletic specific, which would be mostly on our X page, but also sometimes on the Facebook, depending on the topic. This month focused on promoting that new page. We started reposting the articles from the athletic page also through the district page, just kind of using the 2 of them to gain following. Athletic highlights this month are focused around recognizing a senior girls basketball player, Isabel Chaparro, I think I've heard of her, for being named a Class 2A finalist for the KDK Super 7 Award, being named third team All-State Class 2A by PA Sports Writer, and being selected to compete at the Roundball Classic Senior All-Star Game later this month. Caden Levy was recognized for his triple jump, where he placed in the top 25 for the TCTSA Outdoor Championship. And other sports promotions were regarding various spring season updates to celebrate students and all the coaches' success. So other things on this page 2 of my update are a lot of the photos of these events and accolades and achievements all around the district. So as always, if there's anything that you want to see covered or have updates about or photos, please pass them along to Dr. Turk or via Mr. Carter if they're athletics, and that way we can make sure we're highlighting all of these great achievements. That's everything I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions from anyone? Okay, moving right along. Our Forbes Road Delegate Report, Ms. Schutz.
Thank you. So this Wednesday, our Forbes Road students will be recognized their certification ceremony. It'll be at Penn Hills High School at 7 o'clock. So I'd like to recognize our students who will be receiving their certifications. I'm going to do my best. Please give me a little grace if I don't say names correctly, but I did ask. So Soraya Aquino for Vet Science, Michael Bindernagel for Auto Tech, Joseph Brooks for Culinary, Matthew Carlino for Computer Networking Security, Haley Deaney with Cosmetology, Prince Govan with Culinary, Regina Tamburino Scruggs with Health Science, Eben Ulrich with CJPS, which is Criminal Justice and Police Science, and Dom Williams with Culinary. So I'd like to recognize those students putting in the extra effort and going out into the world and representing us on a larger scale and doing a little extra. So
Ms. Schutz, Dom Williams.
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. So Dom, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your work at Forbes, and good luck. Didn't even know you were going to have to, you don't have to give a speech or anything, so you're good. So I would encourage, if you're available, the ceremony is this Wednesday, and just over the hill in Penn Hills.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Schutz or Dom, since he's sitting right there? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. His face, he's like, please, what's happening? Okay, seeing no questions, we'll move into our legislative delegate report. Thank you.
Okay, so we got, I would say this is a mixed bag, this update. We haven't had any bills signed into law by the governor. The House has passed out House Bill 41, PIAA playoff reform. This legislation would allow PIAA to create separate playoff systems for boundary schools, public schools, non-boundary schools, private parochial, that are not limited by geographic enrollment and may recruit student athletes regardless of residency. So this is, yeah. Don't get too excited. Well, the Senate has to pass it, and then the governor has to sign it. But that's not why I'm saying don't get too excited. There's some other things in this update that are not quite as exciting. House Bill 830, parental notification of bullying. There's been some changes to this legislation. It is regarding requiring schools entities notify parents or legal guardians when their child is found after investigation to be the victim of or perpetrator of bullying. House Bill 2176, social media literacy. So this bill has changed. Rather than imposing a legislative curriculum, it would require the State Board of Education to adopt academic standards that affect social media, mobile device usage, etc. So that was a change that I think is positive. because our Board of Education is the experts in writing curriculum, and we should be utilizing their services to do such. House Bill 2218, school counseling support. This legislation requires schools to develop and implement comprehensive school counseling plans that dictate how the schools will provide school counseling services to students. It would also impose strict limits on counselor work time, severely limiting school employers' ability to manage their staff. It also is unclear how this conflicts with the already required school counseling plan that has to be submitted. So it's a little murky how this interacts with what's already required. House Government Committee, interestingly, House passed a resolution asking for a commercial property value study to look into more depth to changes in commercial property values and how that interplays with property taxes, and that the study make recommendations to help address those deficiencies, gaps, inequities, whatever the commission finds. House Education Committee was pretty busy. House Bill 1045 is about seizure recognition in schools. This bill changed a little bit to a voluntary program instead of a mandated program, because it was originally requiring everyone to have seizure training, and now it basically is looking at like nursing staff and front office staff. House Bill 1877, recognizing biliteracy. It would provide for a seal of biliteracy if a high school can demonstrate that a student is bilingual proficiently, then they can put that on their diploma to enhance that diploma. House Bill 2117, asthma medication in schools. Legislation would authorize schools to maintain a supply of short-acting asthma medications to allow school employees to provide or administer medication to students. I did see something that there would be like some funding provided for this, but this most recent update didn't have that. So I don't know how that ended up. It probably got cut. House Bill 2307, Special Ed Contingency Fund. This is the first I saw this. I'm trying not to get too excited. So this would implement several reforms to strengthen the Special Ed Contingency Fund. It would increase the share of the appropriation directed to the fund from 1% to 2%, directing additional resources to support districts. It would potentially benefit smaller school districts. Let's just think about that for a moment. But it has to get out of committee and then pass. It'll probably pass the House. The Senate will be where we'll see some opposition potentially. So we'll see where that goes. I'll keep my eye on it. House Bill 2425, CTE, Curriculum Modernization Grant Program. So this would help CTEs across the state to modernize their curriculum, get new materials and resources and things like that. Particularly digital programs, because those generally require like auto renewal engagement every year. This one also really, I'm excited. This got out of committee. House Bill 2436, talent recruitment account. So all certification fees collected by PDE would go not into the coffers of the general fund of the Commonwealth, but would go directly to support teacher growth in the state. So potentially could be like a funding stream for like the teacher grants for student teaching to be able to aid people to afford to go to college and become teachers. So no discipline fees would go to this new fund, only like certification fees. Senate Bill 1014, cell phone ban. The House Education Committee voted and consolidated the Senate bill and the House bill that already existed into one bill together. It does provide some additional flexibility for building principals. It also makes carve-outs for students with medical needs, students with disabilities, translation-related purposes, when permitted by a teacher. So it's it's opening up and recognizing the thing that we've all talked about when we've talked about cell phones in schools, that there are like actual needs for students to have devices under certain circumstances. As well, there was a hearing on the House Education Committee on AI recently in Pittsburgh on April 21 and April 22. I've linked the hearing, both the transcript and the video audio. The Senate voted out Senate Bill 1293, Save Women's Sports Act. This legislation is to establish a statewide rule that public schools and colleges have to designate athletic teams as either male, female, or co-ed, and they must be based on biological sex at birth of a competitor, creating protections for schools with from penalties by athletic organizations for following this law. So this was similarly passed last May, Senate Bill 9, and is out of the Senate again. I really don't expect the House to act on this bill. That's my impression. Senate Education Committee voted out of committee Senate Bill 6898, appraisals before any school district purchases real estate. Basically says you have to get an appraisal. Senate Bill 250, displaying the Pennsylvania Constitution preamble. It would require that the preamble of the Pennsylvania Constitution be posted at every entrance of every school building. Yeah, we're solving real problems here. And so then they passed out of committee Senate Bill 598, displaying the U.S. Constitution preamble, which would require that the preamble of the United States Constitution be displayed at the entrance of every school building.
Is that like on the outside of the building?
No, they would have to, probably we would have to buy frames and like print it larger. I mean, I didn't get into like the details of like what font anything had to be in. I stopped reading after the description of the bill. Again, the Senate Appropriations Committee has just been a humdinger this year. So they passed out of committee Senate Bill 835 that everyone needs to display the POW-MIA flag at school. So why that's coming out of the Appropriations Committee, I really can't truly understand, but that's what they did. So it is only required where it can be reasonably accommodated. So, Senate Transportation Committee, Senate Bill 1262, enhancing school bus safety. This creates like a more difficult more stringent penalty for school bus drivers who are found under the influence of alcohol or drugs, whether there are passengers on board the vehicle or not. So, no federal updates at this time and no other general information to share. So, very interesting month in Harrisburg. Yep.
Any questions for our legislative delegate? Mr. Goodhead with our Eastern Area.
Thank you. There were a couple of newsletters that were circulated. They're in the board docs to be able to visualize what I'm sort of going to run you guys through. So there's a lot of activities that were happening over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Our last board meeting was on April 23rd. Our next board meeting is in 17 days. It's at the end of this month. So the first activity, the students got to go work at Beverly's, which is a nonprofit organization that provides birthday celebrations and essential items for children experiencing homelessness or families in need. The students made over 1,000 birthday kits, and we were even able to keep some for ourselves at Sunrise. So super fun. Another section of students went to Brushes and Beans, which is a coffee shop / creative space. So they got to learn how to make lemonades. They got to learn how to use the point of sale system, sort of understand the mechanics of a business, and then they also got to paint their own pottery. So also super fun. Inside the school, the students participated in National Art Day, which was a full day of art exploration and just being super creative. They also attended prom, which was at Burrell High School. They had an awesome time dancing, making balloon hats, and essentially mingling and making new friends. On the 19th, that's another newsletter. Thank you. Sorry. On the 19th, Sunrise hosting a STEM and vocational exploration fair from 6 to 8. It's open to the public, where we'll offer STEM activities, vocational exploration, and food trucks. Local businesses will be there to be able to share their services and talk about potential employment opportunities for the students. An update that I've been providing over the past couple months is around the chiller replacement. We finally did the diligence on that and went out to bid. Pricing came back a little more than what we had expected, but I think the team did a good job going through and vetting all of the options. It's approximately $500,000. It was voted on by the board unanimously. It's obviously it's an essential component, and the $500,000 expenditure is well in line with cash availability for the school to be able to continue ongoing operations. That's the update.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Miles Duncan.
There we go. All
Miles
right.
Duncan with the winning RBI.
Yes.
Riverview wins.
All right. All right.
Any questions for Mr. Head for the Eastern area? Quick, our last report of the evening is from our solicitor, Mr. Stone.
Yes, we advise the administration superintendent on different personnel matters, student matters, and also we reviewed and commented on several different contracts. That's it.
Any questions for our solicitor? Short and sweet. Last is our board comments. I do want to just make a quick comment to thank everyone on the board. We've gone through a lot in the last couple of months, and we made it here. I'm excited to see us make it here and finish this year out, and then kind of hit the summer. One of the things I wanted to bring up, though, you may have seen it in the PSBA emails recently. They put out a new guide for student representatives on the board. That was something that I mentioned previously that I would like us to do is a policy. And so with that being said, students in the audience, I would encourage you to encourage your peers. I'm looking, and Dr. English will give you all final details, and so will the administration, but more so for applications to be submitted for August to be reviewed and voted upon by the board. So then that way the student or students representatives can start joining our meetings from September on. That way you get a little bit more just sitting in the audience or you're sitting in class, and hopefully maybe even that person can automatically get a write-off because they're engaged in the meeting rather than having to come to the full meeting because they come to one anyway. Yeah, more to come on that though. I encourage everyone to log on to my PSBA, check out that guide. Other than that, any other board comments for the good of society?
I had one quick comment, sorry. So I just wanted to say, like, since the next meeting, June 1st, is our open budget session, maybe we could also include that in some of our media posting so that, because it could potentially have a 30-year impact on all of our, friends and neighbors in terms of like the school budget. Maybe it could be posted on our Facebook page, like posted at the library.
Yeah, all of our meetings are all posted online on social channels as well.
Well, like, because it could also be on our school website, like on a landing page, like
Oh, yeah.
like a big listing there,
Sure.
or even like on a borough calendar. So if we could make a more robust effort just to notify the public of this important meeting that's coming up on June 1st, that would just be my one suggestion. I was just thinking about that, so that's all. Thanks.
Speaking of calendar, we could see if our school calendar can be more integration friendly for our users in terms of students, community members, parents. It was a request by Borough Council. We can talk about it after the fact, but I just want to bring it up now because I will forget. I did forget. So her comment made me think about that.
I agree with you. I think we're transitioning to a different calendar in the summer months, so that's why some things haven't been
That's
adjusted. So,
A-okay.
like, you'll see our board meetings only go till June, so I don't have access to go further yet.
Perfect.
Is that
Love to hear
our
it.
school's changing, right? Like, yeah,
Correct.
okay,
My understanding.
yeah.
Love
be
to.
something-
There'll be some changes too, I think, via some of the website stuff too, I think. Oh, it's like, yeah.
You know, like, the big things like with the calendars, like, I know I do on the borough widget page
Yeah.
thing, cause like I do it for the Kurth and stuff like that as well. And, but I don't know who does it in the buildings, cause I think, I don't know who does that part, but I think that will all be decided after the new calendar rolls through.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. That's it. Also, just to let everyone know, we had an executive session on last Monday, May 4th, 2026, around 6:40, 6:30-ish, just to discuss the MOU that was voted on this evening with Oakmont Borough. If there's no other questions, can I have a motion for adjournment? Thank you. Any seconds?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Sounds like a plan. Stan, we're out. Thank you all for coming.